as people have just walked past me in the store, you know, and I'd look at my husband and I would look at whoever was with me and I was like, oh my God, did you feel that? You know, and of course, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, you know, but it's hard. It's very hard. And everyone on this team has the ability to do that. They're empaths. They are sensitives. And that's what makes our team such a great team.
Right. Yeah, I could only imagine. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, counting my wife. My wife kind of leads the empathic part of the group, which she's post-cognitive.
Right.
She works a lot. She is our researcher. She heads up that. Of course, we have several people within the group that help with that. And sometimes she'll get so frustrated when we go to an investigation, especially a public investigation like we did Pauley Jail this past year in October. And she come up to me, she just kind of grabbed me on the arm and she says, I got to get rid of this. I got to get rid of this. And, you know, she'll just kind of disappear for a little while and she'll come back all happy. And what she does is she goes and grounds herself and kind of cleans herself up. And she's found a way to kind of nub that down a little bit so she's not bothered with it so much. But I can tell, you know, we just recently investigated the entire town of Old Cahaba and along with Alabama Paranormal Research. And Teresa was running around out there like she didn't really have, like she didn't know which way to go. There was so much history going on. And, and you know, so I can only imagine your whole team together. I bet that when you go into an investigation, I bet there's so much energy that your team puts out that I bet your guys' meters are off the scale.
They are most of the time. They sure are.
You know, we had an incident. You had to excuse me. I've had a little bit of a cold and stuff, so just starting to get over that and a little bit kind of still scratchy to talk. But
okay.
We had an investigator come in at Pauley Jail. Now he's a really good friend of mine, Blaine Rowan, and this guy is, you know, if you wanted to say it that way, he's the real deal. We took a K2 and a male and set it on a bunk. And I'd done this experiment from carrying over from the last time we were at an investigation with him. And I got in and done an EVP session. We got no response whatsoever. The man walked in the room and the K2 pegged. That's all he done was walk in the room. He never even opened his mouth. And once he started calling the spirits and talking with them and stuff like that, our male meter went crazy. Our temperature's up and down, and you could literally feel it. But until he walked into that room, there was nothing. It was flatline, cold, just nothing. So if you guys can do things like he does, then y'all got a wild investigation on your hands. That's for sure.
Yeah, we do. We have certain ones on the team that draw the spirits. They attract them. And whenever they walk into a room or walk into a place, the spirits know that we're there. And we have had people that don't even know us that have followed the group to meet us out in public. One certain person that I'm talking about is a man that owns a restaurant over in Defuniak Springs. And he come up to us and wanted to know the whole story about the Defuniak Hotel Defuniak. And we told him about the investigation and everything, and he said, okay. After that, he says, okay, I was sent over here, and he said, I want you to know I've got a message for you guys, and he said, it's from God. And he says, I'm a minister, and he says, I have a church, and he says, what the message is that what you're doing is a good thing. You're helping people. And he said, God is on your side and that they know you're coming. And we all kind of looked at each other because we felt that all along. We have told each other that many times on our way to investigations that they know we're coming, because we've had incidences happen. And when you get to talking to Greg here, I'm sure he'll share the story with you. But we've had incidences happen to individuals before we went on the investigation. And I mean, these are physical things that have happened to each one of us at different times before we go to the investigation. So they definitely do know we're coming.
That's interesting. Yeah, we run into that as well. I'm
know when you mean business. They know when you're good and you know what you're doing and you know how to handle them and to banish them and get rid of them. They know you're coming and they're going to fight you one way or the other.
right. I'm kind of on the demon. I'm not a demonologist, but I'm kind of the one that deals with the demons on the team. I'll say it that way.
Right. That's Greg on our team. He's our demonologist, and he is amazing at it. They use me as the ghost bait. They call me ghost bait. So they send me in to draw them out. Whenever we draw them out, then we send Greg in to get rid of them.
Ghost bait. Awesome.
I'm the ghost bait. That's right.
There you go. There you go. All right. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Well, Miss Sarah, I'm gonna move on. We're gonna come back and do some recaps and stuff. Miss Mary, are you with me there?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So, have you had a good time so far?
Oh, yeah. Very interesting.
Well, I mean, we're only 25 minutes into the show. It gets better, trust me. All right. So, can you tell me what you do in the group?
Well, I do some of the historical research. I'm one of those people that believe that history of a place and the history of the people that live there and just the history of the land a lot of time will tell us what we need to know before we go into a supposed haunting or an investigation of a haunting.
I agree. My wife definitely would agree with you because that's her part of the thing too. So, so how long have you been with the group?
Probably 3 years. But my husband and I, we've been married 37 years. And wow. Just throughout our marriage, we always went on our own investigations. So pretty much, and since I was a teenager, I've been interested in the paranormal and wondered what else was out there. And but we've done lots of investigations, just he and I as a team.
Well, that's good. So, but you've been with Miss Sarah for a good while?
3 years is on the team. I've known Sarah since we were 11 years old. We were in middle school together. We've known each other since 6th grade.
Yeah, we're sisters by the heart, Sam.
Wow. Well, that was just a couple of weeks ago, though, right?
Right.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think they tore the school down last year or something. I don't know.
They had to tear it down
right
when we went there.
Right.
Oh, wow. You left your mark, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mary, can you, and I know you said that you've had experiences and stuff all through your life. Is there one experience, it's kind of like what I asked Miss Sarah, is there one experience that has stuck out in your whole entire life that, whether it was good or bad, that you remember, that you're going to remember always?
Yes, there is. I'd rather not share that one. That one's a little bit personal for me, but I can share another one with you that stands out for sure.
That's great.
Okay. Well, and when I was a child, my dad worked at Alabama Dry Dock. He was a welder there. And so he worked 3 to 11. And so we lived in Pensacola, so it was an hour to and from work. So he would sleep late in the morning. And this particular morning, I was probably about 6, and I had got out of my bed and went and got in my parents' bed. My dad was up getting ready to go to work. My mom was in the kitchen preparing breakfast and his lunch. And I looked in the doorway of the bedroom between their bedroom and the kitchen in the home we lived in. And I saw I want to say 3.5 foot tall, what appeared to be a black mass. I called it a black ghost to my mom. I said I saw a black ghost, but it was a black mass about 3.5 foot tall. It seemed to be solid, and it was just there, standing between their bedroom and the kitchen of the house. And this was mid-morning, light, bright, sunny day. So that is probably the most memorable for me as a child. The other account that I'm not going to go into happened after my husband and I were married, when my son was a small child. But I have seen things throughout my life that let me know that there's more.
So was that one of the things that kind of shifted you toward the paranormal field?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, you know, doing, you know, thinking about things like the Tesla coil and things. I mean, just the fact that the first recordings were done on a steel wire. I mean, all of that is part of it. Science, you either believe in all of it or you don't believe in any of it. That's how I feel. I mean, discoveries are made every day. Innovations are made every day. But there is something beyond this realm. Absolutely.
Sure. I agree. There has to be. I mean, there's just too many occurrences of different things, just even in the physical, if you will, the scientific physical of this world. There's got to be something beyond it. So that's another show. We'll get into that.
Well, in just the innovation of the tools that we use to try to measure those occurrences. I mean, it's fascinating.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, there's new equipment that's built every day. I get emails all the time wanting me to try this piece of equipment, buy this a piece of equipment, and that type of thing. But, you know, people ask me, what's the best piece of equipment that I have? And I have to say that it's, excuse me, my intuition, my place on this earth. When I walk into a place, you know, the ability to listen spiritually, if you will, and pay attention to your surroundings. There's not a piece of equipment made that can do that.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but your paranormal experiences, have they gravitated themselves to your adulthood? Have made you look on life a little bit differently because of those?
Yeah, I think that I've always been a spiritual person. I've always desired to be closer to God and to experience spiritual things. So, and it's just grown throughout my life. I'm 57. And it's just grown throughout my life that that love for being close to the other side and wondering what it's like.
Right.
And being able to help other people understand. And honestly, sometimes I think what we do is we help other people